Take it away.
So who's
Okay.
going
Oh, you can go. Okay. Good day, everyone. Good day, good day, good morning from where you're joining. Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Bridge Scholarship Forum. And today, on our career development session, we'll be discussing exploring graduate opportunities outside the US, so in USA, Canada, Asia. And I know it's going to be a very productive session. I'm very excited for it as well. And speaking with us today would be no one but the founder of the Achievers Scholars Forum, Mr. Bola. He has done a very good job sharing his knowledge and disseminating information within a wide audience. And we are very, very pleased to have him speak with us today. And before we begin, can we put on the group chat quickly on the chats where everyone is joining from? Let me see. So are we able to access the chats?
Yes, we are.
Okay, perfect. Okay, in about 2 minutes, once everyone has put in where they are live from, we will begin the session. Let's keep on putting the information. Where are we chatting from? Well, me, I'm actually in Michigan, so I'm chatting from Michigan, USA. That's where I'm live from. And I can't wait to see where everyone else is.
Oh, sorry, I
Okay,
was muted. We only have one person currently viewing, so maybe we can.
and wait.
Yes.
I can't
Maybe.
really see the amount of people in the
Oh,
webinar.
because I'm the one hosting. I'm the only
Oh,
one. You can't see like. Can you see like an eye symbol where we go? There's
no.
light. You
Yeah,
can't. That means I'm the only one that is able to see.
yeah. I can only see the live
You
button.
can only see the live, but you can't see how many persons are joined.
Like,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Um.
okay,
I
we'll just
mean,
wait for a few more minutes.
yes. Yes. Um, let's say about 3 minutes we can. Then we start, so we're not waiting for too long.
Okay,
How does that sound?
that sounds very good.
Okay.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, everyone. I can see some chats in the comments. That's amazing. Can you tell us where you are live? What city, what state, what country? We would like to know.
Mm.
And we'll begin in about 3 to 4 minutes. Well, welcome everyone. Amazing. We have someone from Oka. That's nice. Crush Fever. Amazing, amazing. We'll be live in 3 minutes. Oh, Oyo State. Amazing, amazing. Amazing. Welcome. From Ocean, welcome, and Niger State as well. All right. So today our speaker would be none other than Mr. Bola, who is the founder of the Achiever Scholar Forum. And he is an accomplished education and career mentor who has dedicated his time to helping students and young professionals access life-changing opportunities in the US and outside the US as well. Through the Achiever Scholars Forum, he has built a thriving community both online and in person, that equips young aspiring scholars with the knowledge, mentorship, and resources to secure fully funded scholarships to study outside in the US, Canada, and various other countries. And under his leadership and as the founder, ASF, Achiever Scholar Forum, has impacted thousands of students across Africa and beyond through webinars, mentorship programs, application guidance, and educational resources, empowering many to gain admission into top tier universities in the world with significant funding. Well, please join me to warmly welcome the founding father of Achievers Scholar Forum, Mr. Bola. Thank you so much. You can the stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, can you guys see my slide? First question
We
first,
cannot see it. Yes, now we can.
right? Okay, I'm coming. I want to know how to like move to the next slide. Very important.
Yes, take your time.
So, oh, sorry. Is someone? Are you the one moving it?
No.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
perfect.
controlling
Oh,
you from
thank you
this
so much.
end.
Okay,
Yes. So
thank
just
you.
let me know when you need
Yes, I'm
me
very
to.
confused. Hey, what who is moving?
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so yeah, so good morning, everyone. My name is Bala Pius. So I'm currently doing my PhD in materials engineering in the United States of America. So currently today I'm going to be talking to you guys about graduate school application across the world. So applying to school is very wide. So we are going to talk first about the foundation today. So yeah, so what is very quick. So what is graduate school? So graduate school is an advanced academic degree beyond your bachelor level. So that's just mean of graduate school. So MBA is a graduate school, Master is a graduate school, PhD is a graduate school, MPA, that is Master in Public Health, is a private school, MED, that is Master in Education, is a private school. And we have some JD, there's some medical doctor, there's some medical line things you can do. For example, if you study nursing, you can get a JD like a PhD. So for nursing, we don't call their own PhD because just like 2 years, it's all advancing. So anything you have, beyond your BSc level is what we call graduates, advanced degree. So, and for masters is always between 1 to 2 years. So the reason why I say 1 to 2 years, I have mostly North America, South America, maybe like US, Canada, China, South Korea, Asians, their masters is 2 years. But if you go to Europe, most of the European countries, their masters is 1 year. They get the point. So if you are going to UK for now, you spend 1 year for your masters in UK, not 2 years. Or worse, you spend 1 year and few months, but not up to 2 years. So and the reason why you need to understand is you need to understand all these years to know if you have the resilience and the tenacity to like give out your some of your years, right? Another one is like for PhD and doctorate, right? Is it range between 3 to 6 years, and I also explain if you are studying your BSc in Europe is 3 years because but the clause in European PhD is that they expect you already have a master's before in your country. They are going to like give you admission because you have a master's. They are going to give you a PhD admission. So you spend 3 years. That is 5 years with your master's, right? But in Canada also they expect you to have a master's. Then you spend 3 years also when you come for your PhD. But now I think there's a little bit flexibility, right? There's a little bit flexibility, in PhD of few schools in Canada now that they will take you in, with your BSc, but you're going to spend between 4 and 4.5 years now. But in the USA, they expect you to spend 5 years in total. Either you have masters or you have PhD in your country, or they don't care. Once you are studying in the US, your PhD is 5 years. So that is why you need to know this thing because you need to know how to position yourself. So that's why it is always advisable to come to the US after your BSc because if you stay back in your country and have masters, and as you are coming in, you are still spending the same 5 years. Sometimes, yeah, there's always an exception where you know you are so lucky you go into a lab that they have a very, very flexible research that you can graduate in 3.5 years, 4 years. Some people graduate their PhD in the US 7 years, 6 years. They get the point. Yeah. For example, in my program now, they expect you to spend between 5 and 6 years, but maximum of 6 years. Why some schools that I'm not going to mention, you can take your PhD up to like 7 years. Yeah. So those are the things you need to know. But in the US, MBA is 1 year, 18 months. Yeah. MBA my school is 1 year. So if you want to do an MBA, no, you're spending 1 year. MPH is 2 years. So and there's some medical, program we want to like do that is also 2 years to get the point now. So those are the things we need to know. So let's continue. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about global education, global graduate education. Now we want to compare the four major, regions that people study in the US. So yeah, next slide. Okay, so we have four major places that you can study in the US. We have USA, you have Canada, you have Europe. Like I said, we have Asia, right? So let's talk about what are the major difference between these four regions, right? the first thing, because I'll talk about USA for the first thing about USA. USA has a very flexible curriculum. So very flexible curriculum means that when you come, it's easier for you to like say, okay, fine. Oh, I study civil engineering in my country now. I want to study computer science because after my civil engineering, my BSc, I started learning about tech. Now I have something to prove that I can do little things about tech. So fine, good, yeah, sure. You can cross. They are very flexible in the way people move from one department to other. For example, like me, I have mechanical engineering background. When I was in Nigeria, my ND, my HNA, and BSc, I studied from University of Ibadan. So, and Yaba Tech in Lagos. So, but when I came for my PhD, now I'm doing materials engineering. In my materials engineering, I'm working with a civil engineering professor, right? Can you see how I change? US allowed those kind of changes. They are very flexible. They have strong research focus. I will not lie to you. When it comes to research in the world, I will give it to USA any day, anytime. They have the money, they have the funding, they have the system. Do you get? And their masters is 2 years, no changing, except you are doing an MBA. Their PhD is 5 to 6 years, except, like I said, uh, in some areas that you work with a particular professor. For example, now if you are working with the project that you are doing polymer, I expect you to graduate in 4 years, or you are doing competition and you don't have a lab. Your laptop is your lab. I also expect to like to spend 4 years. Then they have funding through TA and RA. TA means teaching assistantship. Means that when you resume to the program, they will give you some lab, not really class. You don't teach like a lecturer, but some lab. You teach the student in the lab. Their practicals and everything like that. Sometimes you help a particular professor to grade a course, to join him in class, to protocol the exam, what we call supervising in Nigeria. They call it, they use the word protocol here. So that one, and the school will waive your school fees by you doing that, and they will pay you monthly stipend. We don't call it salary, we call it stipend. So stipend is what they pay you that, so stipend is what they pay you, and from that stipend, it covers your house. You can pay your house rent from there. So I'm going to tell you the difference between all this region. In US, they pay you from the payment. You pay your house rent yourself. You buy your anything you want to buy. That's not their own problem. They just pay you the money. Then we have RA. RA is research assistantship. So research assistantship is when you you are working with a particular professor that has a grant, maybe from the government, from a company, from national lab, they want, or sometimes internal grant from the school, that they are working on a particular research. So in that particular one, they will only give you admission because they want to work on that particular project. So when you resume, they give you research assistant. So I've been a research assistant from my year one to my year four, but now I want to like be a TA again because I'm going to my final year of my PhD. I'm going to my fifth year of my PhD by next month. So then one thing about you is the OPT work authorization. So after your school, you can get OPT, optional, optional, what's the name of OPT? Optional something training. Yeah,
Practical training.
practical training. Yeah. So which gives you access to like, work in the US with a company based on what you have learned. If you're in a STEM, you have up to 3 years OPT. If you're in a non-STEM, you just have a year OPT. And the meaning of OPT is just that, okay, we have taught you, we have also give you an experience, then go back to your country or anywhere you want to go to and make everything work. So that's where we are going to stop here. So when it comes to Canada, right? Canada has is similar to the US, lower tuition fee, 1 to 2 years masters, 4 to 6 year PhD also. Their own PR pathway. So PR means permanent residence, right? Means that you have a legacy after your school. For Canada, is pathway is friendly, right? It's no more, you can apply for a lot of way in Canada. After your school, you can do the talent. You can use the talent rule to show to them I have the talent. I'm a researcher and everything. So that one is somehow flexible a little compared to the US. So they also have a very research intent, and you can work while you are studying. Yes. So in Canada, while you are studying, you have 20 hours to work outside the school. But in the US, you cannot work outside the school. Please note that. So that is why if you are coming to the US, it is always important you have funding, or else you want to come and suffer yourself. But while in Canada, you can go without funding because when you come, the school permit you to work for 20 hours outside the school. Then through that, you can pay your house rent and everything. But in the US, you cannot. Please have it at the back of your mind. That is why when you are applying to schools in the US, your major focus is to get funding. That is your major focus. So in Europe, they have a very, bilingual system, 1 to 2 year master, like I said, 3 to 4 years PhD, lower and free tuition. So we have a lot of country that they waive your tuition, like Italy, waive your tuition, you know, Italy, if you go to like, is Finland part of Europe? Maybe like Finland, waive your tuition. I know of I know of a lot of France, they waive your tuition, right? You don't pay tuition fee. So or some of them their tuition fee is as low as €1,000, £1,000 they get, compared to the US that you can pay almost $60,000 in a year, if you don't have funding. So and they have many English programs because it is Europe. For example, now in Germany, now some countries, some schools in some European countries, they expect you to learn their language before they can give you admission. For example, now if you go to Germany, they expect you to like learn German for you to for you to be admitted to some specific school because their lecturers are German, so they don't teach in English. And also, even in German, for you to get some job when you're after school, I think you need to have like C in German for them to give it a particular type of job. So yes, and Erasmus mobility, very, very important. So we have a different scholar. So Erasmus is like a particular scholarship that European people give. Because of that, if you get that Erasmus, automatically you can move within a lot of European countries. European countries are very close to each other. You can use train from UK to France, from France to, yeah, they are very, very close. So, and Schengen travel. So those are they are important. So when it comes to like Asia, rapidly growing, we know Asia is very good now. Competitive course, Asia is not, converting the money, I'm in Nigeria, so I'll use Nigeria. Converting Naira to like some Asian currency, right? It's not really that bad. So you can school in Asia, even though when you don't have funding, right? Yeah, I don't really know the conversion, but when I was in Nigeria, like it was like 450 per dollar. That time, almost 300,000 something in South Korea should be around 240,000 naira. So you can go there and school. School, even though their country is very good at everything, you can go there and school. So, but then they have most of government funding. Asia has a lot of government funding, and they have a cultural immersion. So those are the things you need to know about different area. Then you need to ask yourself which one will work for me, which one will not work for me. Especially even if you are married and you have family, you need to ask yourself which one would be easier for me to move my family with me when I'm going, or even if I go alone, which one will be easier for them to join me, later. So those are the things I want you guys to like know about different region. Yeah. Next slide, please. So now I'll to break the region step by step. So sorry, because yeah, step by step. So I'll talk about US, then all the regions again. So let's talk about US. That is my favorite country. That's where I'm schooling. So when it comes to like US, right? And this is one of the biggest problem people don't do when it comes to the US. Right. Okay. So application timeline, you need to understand it for US. Very, very important. So in the US have 3,000 plus schools and colleges, right? Let me put it that way. 3,000, like, so we reach that if you count the community college, right? And the university in the US, there are 3,000 plus. Do you get? And the problem is that you cannot apply to all the 3,000 schools. Maximum you apply to like maybe 20, maximum to my own time I applied to 20 schools. So let's assume you have, I know someone that apply to like 35. You have strength like some of us, you can apply to like 35, 20. But most times, sometimes people stop at 10 and 5. Now, how do you know the exact 5 you apply to out of 3,000 schools? That's the problem. Funny enough, it's not all the 3,000 will be doing your course. Maybe like 100, 250 will be doing your course. Like there will be research intensive in your course. Yeah. Now, how do you research that? That's one of the big problem. Now, to research the school you want to go to, I always advise my mentee. It takes at least 12 months, sometimes 6 months, to do research to the school you are going to go to before the application open. So US have 3 major application cycle. They have fall and they have spring. So fall is those that are going to resume classes in August, like next month / September. While spring are those that are going to resume classes if they give you admission in January 1. Now, application again, an application for US open a year before the class resumes. So which means if you want to resume class for 2027, application starts next month. So all the process take 1 year, right? Now let me explain. Application is going to open mostly for 6 months, August to December. To some schools, they can extend to like January or following year or February or following year. But I always tell people, any school that will open the application till March of the following year, don't apply. They don't have funding. Don't even bother yourself because yes, because one, you're an international student. You need your decision on time because of visa, right? So yeah, now, but I always advise between February of this year and June and July of this year, which this month, you should at least research, how to decide for school is another class, it's another seminar entirely because a very long one, on I only do it like a live, I always do it in a practical way. I open my YouTube, my Google and some school website, and I'll tell you how to research for schools and everything. Now, it might take you 6 months to later scale down to the school you want to apply to. So which means if they are, yeah, some people are extremely lucky. They are very smart. They are vast in their research. When the application open, they will see try, they will see get to school, they will see apply, and they are still going to get admission. So most application open between August 15, August 30, the last week of August and the first week, of September. And most application closes December 1. Sorry, few application closes December 1, especially if you are in chemistry. Most chemistry application closes December 1. Then most STEM courses, and even non-STEM courses, close December 15. So if the application open in August, by December 15, they are going to close. Then they will start their review between January, they are going to go for Christmas, then January till like March of next year. So by February, some people will get admission, get decision, either rejection or acceptance, by the same thing. Then, but by March, everybody should get decision because by April 15, they expect to either reject their school or accept their school. So then after that, you started processing your, stuff. So it's a very long time that you need to like prepare yourself for. I always tell people applying to US is like a full-time job. It require your time. It require your attention. It require a lot of things from your tenacity and everything. It can be tiring sometimes, right? And also, some programs in some schools, not all schools, might require you to submit a GRE and GMAT score, especially if you are in and you are studying economics or agric economics. There's no way you want to get admission to this US that you need funding. I'll put a clause that you're not going to submit a GRE or GMAT score. No, there is in my entire school, as big as my school is, only economics department is calling for GRE. Other by no GRE, because the issue is that economics, for example, in the US is like a mathematics intense course compared to Nigeria. That is not mathematics intense course. So now, and they know that most African countries don't focus so much on mathematics in economics, right? So they want to use your GRE or GMAT to judge you if if you are very good in numeric algebra and all this kind of stuff. They get the point. So if you are going to write GRE, and how do you know you are going to write GRE? Is that if you start your research on time. For example, now you search like 50 schools, 45 is telling you need to submit GRE. Then you know that for your course, GRE might be the only gateway for you to like apply, to the school of your choice. So GMAT, sometimes if you are studying maybe like accounting or financial accounting, they prefer you to submit a GMAT. Then we have draft material. Then so you have to submit application between December and February, like I already explained. Then you expect your decision between February and April of that year. So now, key component, online application is always school specific portal. And this is why sometimes US is different from Europe. Sometimes Europe we apply general. They have a very central portal that they apply with, even though you are going to Germany. For example, you apply for Erasmus, even though Erasmus is going to UK for you, this one is going to Germany for you. No, they have a single portal. Then application fee for US is always range between $50 and $150 per school. So per school per application, do you get? So it's also money intensive to apply to the US. Yeah, there's always an exception that you can get you know, application fee waiver from the department if you're a very good student, if they know that, okay, or if you attend their seminar, their webinars, like some school do webinar like this, I'm going to explain everything about the application. If you join and they know that you joined through your email, they will send you application fee waiver. So now they have rolling and deadline basis admission. Some schools you can keep on applying until they get the number of students they want. They'll keep on accepting application. So and interview rounds, yes. So interview is a program dependent, which means in engineering we don't do interview at all, right? But when you're now trying to go to like courses like MBA and you do interview a lot, MBA, you do a lot of rounds of interviews. The school will keep on calling you, or anything related to like medical, maybe like MPH and something like that. You might do interview. So in engineering, the only way you can do interview is if the professor want to know more about it before taking you to his lab or to our lab, they can request for an interview. They can say, "Oh, can we make so?" But the other department, their own interview is more intense because you face the admission committee. They ask you questions, especially if you are going to integrate like medical, medical, yeah, maybe something like neuroscience, neuro this, all this kind of medical terms. I'm not in medical lines, NPH, all this kind of stuff. You are going to pass through at least two stages of interview. And if you are lucky, you pass through, they'll give you admission. And if not, they'll tell you, oh, we are not going to the next stage of interview. So these are the things you need to know about the US. How yeah. So can you go to the next slide, man? Okay, so let's talk about application requirement for the US. So one of the application requirements like US require is a bachelor degree minimum. But some department in a school might require you that you must have a master's. For example, in toxicology in Iowa University, without master you cannot get into their department. Same thing is material science of University of Colorado School of Mine. Without masters, you cannot get it for their PhD. Mostly economics in the US, I repeat, you can't get in without you having a master's for that. So the sweet part of masters for economics in the US is that when you get for your master, they fund you for your masters. They fund you for your masters. Then after your masters, you go for a PhD. But if you have a PhD from Nigeria, from your country, you can get direct. So some department has a very strict requirement when it comes to their PhD program. But mostly, like I said, mostly you need your bachelor degree and you need 4 years degree, not 5. Even though in Nigeria our program is 5, most of our program is 5 years in STEM, right? Not STEM 4 years. But in the US, both STEM and non-STEM, everything is 4 years. So that's why I always tell people, if you can get if you are in your final year in university and you have your 100 level to 400 level transcript, you can apply to schools in the US even though you are still in your final year. Just let them know that, oh, you have more one result to like submit, and they don't care. They will judge you based on your 100 level to 400 level. And I have people that when I graduated from UI, people that was 400 level, I have 3 of them. Funny enough, they're all PhD older today, and I'm saying school. I have 3 of them that they were in their final year. I'm not joking. They have started their final exam. They got their admission. 3 of them, they got their admission. And I was their senior. I resumed before them, but we later came to US together. Now they are PhD holder. One graduated last month, one graduated like last year. I think the other one graduated also this year. So do you get the point now? So people don't know that. People think that they need to graduate and no, as long as you can present 4 year certificate result, you can apply. So in the US, they have a minimum requirement for CGPA. And I need to explain this part, right? School has CGPA requirement. Department has their own requirement. It's just like a JAMB in Nigeria. JAMB might come and say that, okay, fine, we are using 170 for university application. They are spoiled JAMB now. Or we are using 200, for example. But UI medicine department will tell you that no, we are using 270, right? Why engineering will tell you that, oh, we are using 250. Why another department, maybe in education, will tell you that, oh, okay, we accept 200 at the, that. So that thing you need to put at the back of it. So what qualifies you to apply to any school in the US is that you must have a minimum of 2-1 in the Nigerian scale system. And I'm going to explain. I use 7.0 in UI, but let's say 5.0 in Nigeria. I think 2-1 started from 3.6, I can't remember. So let's assume 2-1 started from 3.6 in Nigeria to 4.49, right? If I'm right. Yeah, hopefully I'm right. Yeah. Then what qualifies you to apply to US school is that you must be on that, because there's something they call evaluation. If they evaluate your result, you're 3.7. If I'm right, I've done it before for some people. You should be on 3.0 on dot, right? Oh, thank you so much. So it's 3.5 to 3.49. So US expects you to have 3.5 and above. But this is the danger in it. I don't expect anybody to have 3.5 and apply to the US, to be honest, because you apply with people across the world, right? That they have a very fantastic CGPA more than you. But you can still try if you can evaluate your result through WES or IEE, you evaluate your result. Then, if you are lucky, you can be in 3.01, 3.03, and you have other research experience, skills, and everything. Sure, you can get in. Yeah. Now, so that's a requirement for, yeah. But don't be deceived. Sometimes department requirements is different, right? In my school, it's 3.0. In my program, they only take first class students. Basic. They like your transcript must show that you graduated with the first class. Like you must, there's a way they range it. They will evaluate your result themselves and they expect to be in 3.5 and above in 4.0 scale. Right? Do you get? So now that is why before you apply to any school, ask that department what is your CGPA and like average. I applied to a particular student that told me that, oh, they take only 3.6 or 4.0 to their PhD. So even though you have made the first class in your school in Nigeria, as long as they convert that result themselves and it's not up to 3.6 and above in their own scale in that department, they will not give you admission. So even though the school say 3.0, but then they add 0.6 to their own requirement. So we all need to all know that. So when it comes to GRE test, now most of them are optional now, except for economics. So you need to ask questions also. And there's some courses you are going to do in the US that they require you to. So GRE is in two. We have subject GRE and we have GRE that's a general test. So that you can, so if you apply for GRE, you can see that there's some that they ask to write thesis. Write thesis GRE. Yes, GRE has a physics course alone. So there's some department of physics in the US, because of their intensity of their research, they're going to submit a GRE score in physics alone, right? And language proficiency exam, we have TOEFL and we have IELTS. Sometimes some schools, some department they require for you to, like, because they want to know that you can speak, you can read. You want to be a TA, you are going to talk to their student. They want you to prove through IELTS that you can speak, right? Because IELTS or TOEFL will go to test you in reading, speaking, writing, and listening, right? And they want you to pass through for it, and they really want to understand that, oh, you can read, you can write, and you can do all these things. So I think I have a private chat. Okay, then other written material that's very key to the UA is statement of purpose, which is always a page or one page because it depends on the school requirement. Letter of recommendation, typically 3. Academically preferred. They prefer people that in school to write it for you, right? Resume and CV, which is always be 2 pages. Yeah. And this is one of the biggest problem when we do another webinar. I'm going to explain. Most people that apply for it, they don't know the difference between job CV and academic CV. They are totally different. And sometimes most of you submit job CV for application of schools. It's wrong, right? So job CV is different, academic CV is different. They are so distinct in the way they write them. Do you get? Then we have something people also submit writing samples. So writing samples is not for we that we are in STEM, we don't write writing sample, right? But writing sample is majorly for people in humanity and social science. Yeah, you're going to write sometime. My school, if you want to study philosophy in my school, you're going to write 41 pages of writing sample, and you're going to submit it a lot. So anybody that gets admission to philosophy in my school, I don't respect them, because I don't know how I can sit down and write for 20 pages because of what? I want to come and do PhD. But you have, and many schools that you have to write it, yeah. Even history, you have to write history and everything. Because what you want to tell, you want to come and study, they want you to write the proposal and submit it at that particular time. Then Then there's something some people also have a portfolio of people that maybe people that in computer science, people in art and design and architecture. So these are the things you need to know about US application requirement. Can we please go to the next slide? So let's talk about the US funding opportunity, right? Yeah. So let's talk about US funding opportunity, the one that is good and the one that is not good. So I've already said before, the fourth one we have is research assistant. And a research assistant, what is it? It gives you tuition waiver, which you are not going to pay school fees, health insurance. Sometimes it is not insurance, covers your if you have if you are sick, all this kind, they can diagnose it for free, recommend you see the doctor, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, and stipend, monthly stipend. So they pay you every month. So the money they pay you every month is from the money you pay your house rent yourself. Like I said, don't forget. Then we have teaching assistants. I've already explained that one. So it comes with the tuition waiver, health insurance. So what's health insurance? What's the difference between research assistant for those that just joined and teaching assistant? For research assistants, you don't teach, you only do research. Funny enough, if you're a teaching assistant, you still do research because I did PhD. That's the and it now make it more difficult. You go to class, you teach, you are doing your own course, you teach students, you are doing your own course, then you are going returning back to lab to come and do research again. So you are combining three things together on your small simple head. But if you're a research assistant alone, is your class and research alone. But if you're a teaching assistant, your class, research, and you are teaching and you grade. So it shrink your time and it shrink your comfort for very few of time. So let's talk about fellowship, the sweetest one in life. In fellowship, you may not do research, is your choice. They are said to go to classes alone for the first 1 year. Just go to class. Don't teach, don't do anything. It's just that you're collecting free money. You are not working for it. So, but fellowship is very hard to get because it comes from let's assume like Favor now, she graduated from a school, she's a very big woman now. She has a company. That's okay, fine. Let me be giving first three students in this department every year, right? I'll pay for their school fees and give them stipend for the first 1 year of their they get. So that's what they call fellowship. So it comes from alumni body of that department, right? It comes from sometimes a lab that they have an affiliation with that department when it comes to research. Sometimes it doesn't come from the government. So if you're an American citizen, it can come from the government, maybe like a national lab, like NSA, all this kind of stuff, right? So it also covers your health insurance. No, not in all cases. Sometimes, yeah, not in all cases, and not all fellowships. So some fellowship will only waive your school fees where you use your TA to pay. Then we have merit scholarship, where I advise everybody to run away from. So in merit scholarship, once they tell you they give you merit scholarship in your letter, or they tell you, oh, our department offer merit scholarship, there's no stipend. One. Two, there's no health insurance. Two, your tuition waiver is always partial. So that we give you 50% discount in your tuition waiver, or we give you sometimes some of them will waive it totally. They will waive your school fees totally, but they expect you to pay to come to resume to the school, and the way you feed yourself and pay your bills is totally on you. But some of you are the last kids and everything. So yeah, that some of you, we have people here that they pay, they pay for themselves and everything. Yeah, so that is what you need to know about US funding opportunity. Can we go to the next slide, please? I need to very fast. Hey, time has gone. I talk a lot. That's my problem. So when it comes to program selection, I always advise people to apply to 6 to 10, schools, research faculty, and their works, contact. So this one, if I want to talk about code email and everything, might be another seminar, because like I said, I don't want to talk about a lot of that you guys we have, so when it comes to after admission, right, you need 2 to 3 months to process your visa, right? Yeah. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so let's talk about Canada. So Canada is not really that hard. It's very flexible. Like I said, so Canada is very similar to the US. They also open their application they also have the application deadline, in December to March. They started in August like this also, and everything like that. So yeah. But some programs have rolling admission. I already explained, rolling admission to you guys. Rolling admission means that let's say they want to admit 20 students, they'll just keep on and already make their own requirement out they take these 20 students. So until they fill those 20 students, if it's going to take them 8 months to fill it, they will open the application down. So you can apply anytime you like. So yeah. So they have direct early. So when it comes to like funding, yes. So this is the part of US. When it comes to like funding in Canada, when it comes to like funding in Canada, you before you even apply to that school. So this is what I don't explain in the US. In the US one for TA, you can apply to the school. When they give you admission, they give you research assistant, teaching assistant straight. TA, you come and you study. But for Canada, to get funding, a professor must say yes, come and work with me. That's the only way you can get funding in Canada. Yeah. So which means in the US, you can apply to PhD. If they give you admission, they give you teaching assistantship, or a professor may reach out to you before and say, "Oh, I saw your application. I like it. Will you work with me? Don't worry, I will take you as a RA." But in Canada, you must secure an advisor first before you apply to that, except you are not looking for funding. But if you're looking for funding in Canada, that's their own process. Even the professor must give you an acceptance letter. The school, every school has their own format that you are going to upload during your application time. Yeah. So the application fee is between also 100 to 150 Canadian dollar, which is a little bit lesser than US dollar, right? And the issue there is that they don't waive it. US can waive it for you, but Canada does not waive. So supervisor selector is a crucial for a research program. And like I said, provincial nomination program also for PR and after your school and everything. So if you really want to like go to Canada, please know that the only one of the easiest way for you to get funding is that a supervisor must say yes. That's why their own is a little bit harder when you're looking, because then you know that you need to send a lot of code email out. While in the US, if I already ask and system that, oh, you don't need the code email, I won't bother myself again. I will just apply. I know that yeah. All the 20 schools I applied to, I got like 7 admissions. Funny enough, only three already have a supervisor. Remaining 4, no supervisor, just give me TA. Right? Then I pick the one I like out of all the schools. So that's that's the major difference between Canada and US. For Canada, you need a supervisor to say yes, come and work with me before you can apply to that department. If you need funding. Yeah. Next slide. Please control this slide. So when it comes to like so same thing with the US also. TOEFL is very important to them in Canada. IELTS, yeah, it's an IELTS school. So most of them they require to have an IELTS also. They get GRE is not required in Canada. Most of the program they don't require. Yeah, I've never seen a program that only one school I've seen before that require GRE, and it's even an optional. So if you are afraid of writing GRE, because GRE can be very hard, right? You can try Canada. So and also if you have a PT, language proficiency exam, you can use your CAL. So like I said, Canada and US they are very, very close. Yeah. So let's go to the next slide. But the major difference between them is just the issue of the professor. Next slide, please. Okay. So Canada funding opportunity can also come, like I said, from teaching assistantship, research assistantship, grant assistantship, supervisor research grant. Do you get? And national program, other things you can do to get which is very tough, is that Vena Canada Graduate Scholarship, you can apply for that. That's like a government scholarship. You can apply for that scholarship like NSC, RSC. They are field specific funding. Sometimes they can, I think most of them go to, if you are doing something like medical and everything. Then we have some international scholarship like Ontario Graduate Scholarship, which is specifically based on region. If you are schooling in any school in Ontario, we have MICAT, Global Link Research Award. We have Home Country Government Program, and like I said, so those are the things you can apply for, even though they are very, very competitive and everything like that. So, but you can, like I said, you can work on campus 20 hours per week. So in the US also, let's assume you don't have funding, you resume, you can look for a job within the campus. Maybe you're working in the dining, you're working at the gym, you're working at the front desk of your department, this kind of stuff. You can also get a TA. So that's what we call on-campus job. You cannot exceed 20 hours per week. But for all campus job, I think after 6 months of study, you can go out there and work. And wait. So you can go there and also work, in the US. Oh, I can do it myself. Favor, don't worry. So yeah. So for Canada, I won't say much about Canada. I think they are very close to the US. Just that, like I said, when it comes to like work permit and residency is faster in Canada compared to the US. Yeah. So let's go to Europe, which is most complex one now. So for um Europe application is different from this, why everything now become messy now. If you are going to Canada and US, don't worry, they have the same application time. But Europe application opens in November and ends in February, right? But now, if you want to study in Europe and you need funding, Europe does not have funding like US. Especially UK does not give funding. Do you get? Except in some few cases. But most people study in Europe through Erasmus, um, sharing scholarship, Commonwealth scholarship, there's MasterCard. Those are the four major ways people go to like Europe to go and study, on funding. So, and they all have their own different, applications. I'm going to explain. So, yeah, some program are spring. So, spring is those people that are resuming in January. So, in the US and Canada, it's easier for you to search for schools, search for program. But when it comes to like Europe, so it's different. So sometimes one of their best own search engine is studyportal.com. That's what the search engine they use. So or you can also go to individual university portal. Do you get? Um, so key countries and futures. So in UK is separate from EU, right? Because pros, Brexit, so they have 1 year masters. But in Germany, we have free tuition in Germany. You can get technical excellence in Germany. Netherlands, they are very good. They have a lot of English program, and they have a lot of innovative, in France, they have low tuition. I think France just released another memo that they are canceling is it France or Italy? That they want to cancel their entry another, free tuition, and they have cultural, richness. So Nordic countries, they have free tuition, they have high quality of life. You also want to consider that, you also want to consider that you really want. Yeah. So if you really need high quality of life, you want to like check all those Nordic countries. Switzerland, top ranked, expensive, and moderate fees. Expensive to live, right? To live. Even though their school fee is not really that high, but to live in that country is very, very expensive to live. Yeah. So now, for European application, their bachelor degrees, with 3 years to 4 years bachelor degree, you can enter because some country they have 3 years for the bachelor degree there. So transcript evaluation and conversion is somehow important, but the way they do their own, right? There's a particular agency in each country. Nigeria, I don't know what they call them. You are going to take your result to them in Abuja, they do the evaluation for you, then they give you back that you can use it for that country. So there's a way they do their own, right? So it's not all schools here, but some schools they will tell you have to evaluate your result in your country. Yeah. So you're back to your country then. But that office is in Abuja. GRE is really required. They don't require GRE in Europe. So if you don't want to write GRE, don't Europe is your best shot. So, but for English taught program, they require you to have IELTS between 6.0 to 7.0, TOEFL between 80 to 100. So, Europe does not really joke with IELTS, especially they want you to have the IELTS result. For German program, test that DHS or or golden certificate. So for German, these are the English certificate they want you to have. Test that DSH or golden. So if you can have this, you can apply to like German school. They know okay fine. Yeah. The French program, if you are going to a French country, they also expect you to, yeah. So their own is not. So the major difference from European school is just that proof of finance. Yeah. That's why you know everybody is doing proof of fund. Yeah, proof of fund. Canada, even though Canada give you fully funded, you have to provide proof of fund. Even if they are fully funded in Europe, you must provide it because they expect that anything can happen to your funding at any particular time of your study. Then they want to be sure that you have the money to complete your program. So then they don't care any funding or no funding, you must provide them with proof of fund. Yeah. So and their CV is different from US and Canada CV. They use Europass format. In Europass format, you put your picture, your passport must be on top of the CV. Your passport, some of the details, your number. It's a very, I won't say weird, but it's a very weird they do their own CV and that's what they want you to submit, right? So they have you can check online, your passport and everything. So those are the application material. Most of them, they normally need for your application. Yeah, proof of fund. So how can you get the funding in the US? You can be lucky you get full scholarship, tuition, living expenses plus travel. So in Europe, most of them they pay for your flight to come and study if you are fully funded. Yeah, they'll pay for your flight from your country to come and study, and they pay for your flight once in a year to go back to your country if you want to see your family. So now, and the important part of the study in Europe is just that a single program might give you chances to study in 3 universities in Europe. Yeah. So what are the ways you can get scholarship in Europe? You have to check that scholarship. DAAD scholarship is for German alone. Yeah, they pay you between, if you're a master student, they pay you 861 euros per month. If you get a that, if you're a PhD student, they pay you 1,200 euros per month, right? Fine. Chevron scholarship, that one is full scholarship. This one, I think this one, they will pay for your flight to come and study. But this one, for Chevron, they pay for your house rent. They only give you money for stipend. US pay you everything. You pay your house rent. But this one, they take the money out and pay your house rent, and they give you the remaining one. So we have FL Excellent in France, which is 1,181 per month in euro. Then we have Holland, scholarship, Netherlands, which they pay as high as $5,000, for the scholarship. We have Swedish Institute scholarship. Do you get so? And like I said, I mentioned the other one like Erasmus modules. We have Mastercard scholarship, Queen Elizabeth scholarship. There are even some scholarships that's only is gender based. They gave you because you're a woman. I think Queen Elizabeth should be gender based. Yeah. So these are the things. And universities in Europe, you can apply with your tutu. If you have a lower, you can apply. Yeah. They accept lower credit if you have it. You get the point. So if you know that you don't really have a good result and you want to do a graduate school, then you can go to Europe. And when it comes, one of the most cheapest school you can go to in Europe is France. France school fees is as low as £243 to £701 per year. So most of they are very cheap. You can go there. So, like I said, so for application in Europe, you have to apply early for scholarship. Yeah, it's for most of the scholarship are first come, first serve basis. So like, and also in Europe you can work. Yeah, you can work. You can work outside the school. You can work between 10 to 20 hours outside the school. Depends, what they are giving it to you. But I don't think they really have like funding. So that is all about that. Let's go to Europe, right? Europe is very sweet. Jesus, did I say Europe? Asia. So let's go to Asia. Asia is very sweet, right? They are very by countries and university, multiple intake. They take a lot of people, right? And so, but how can you? So, if you want to study in Europe, right? To me, I always prefer Hong Kong as the number one place in Europe to study, and the reason is that they have two sweet, distinct scholarship that you can get, HKU and HKUST. That is Hong Kong University Fellowship and Hong Kong, maybe government or state fellowship. Yeah, they are majorly for international students, but this is it. To study Hong Kong, they are CGPA obsessed. European countries, they are CGPA obsessed, which means that you have to have a first class. For Hong Kong, you have to have a first class and masters if you want to get HKUST. But there has been some way that they can waive you and the masters out, but they can never waive the first class on. There's nothing you want to tell them. You must be the top. Because, so let me tell you one thing about graduate school, and you guys need to understand. These schools, the graduate school is there for international students because they want to take the best ed out of their country. And one of the way this school understand that you are a best ed is if you have a first class. Do you get? So, yeah. So the issue about Asia, even though it is sweet to enter, the issue about Asia is that you need a first class to apply to almost, if not all, most of their their scholarship. In China, we have Tishiguat scholarship, Peking scholarship, and in Japan we have to So where you can study in Tokyo, that I know that they have scholarship is Tokyo, Kyoto. I think Kyoto is their capital, if I'm not mistaken. South Korea, we have case scholarship. Yeah. So, like I said, South Korea is a very good place to study. They are very tech innovative and everything like that. But if you are leaving home to feed home, they leave home, but you are going to be feeding home. You guys understand, right? South Korea may not be a good destination because they have very weak currency, and their currency is not that good against Nigeria, not that good, when you convert everything to naira. So you may put yourself in a lot of financial constraint, and stress if you are sending money home. So for HKU and HKUST, yeah. So like I said, if you don't want to go to Okong. Yeah. So one of the most crazy part of applying to Asia is just that their own life after school is not easy. I don't think it's even easier for you to get, their permanent resident or work permit. It's not easy. Yeah. Their life after school is not easy. So, like I said, because if I want to apply to school, you also want to consider life after school. What is there for me if I'm done with my program? Will I be able to stay back? Okay, if I stay back, can I start a family? Okay, if I start a family, okay, can I work? Can I get work permit? How is it easier for them to become their to have a permanent resident? So all those things you have to and like I said, when US is the best country that has almost everything, but I won't say everything. Yeah, do you get the point? So that's something you need to think before you start applying to school. Oh, this school is this particular region is very easy to apply to, but the question is that consider your life after school. Asia, you cannot. I don't think I get a citizen if you stay 55 years there. Even in Dubai, you cannot. You will always remain international. You always remain an external person to them. But in the US, if you obey their citizen, you abide by their rules and law. They find you worthy. You can become a citizen. Same thing with Canada and everything. So Asia funding opportunity, right? Asia funding opportunity. We have Chinese government scholarship. You can check it out. MEST is a very big scholarship. If you get MEST, your life has settled for life. Because the money is not here. I think MEST and HKSU pay the highest stipend in the world. I think now they pay around $50,000 now per year now for their PhD student. I think only few. I don't think any US school, maybe some schools in Boston pay that kind of amount of money because of cost of living. But on average, I think it's always between 35 downward. But yeah, MEST is a very big scholarship. If you can get it, they pay 144,000. But if you convert this 144,000 to naira now, you might feel disappointed, but that's fine. So we have Korea government scholarship, we have Singapore international graduate scholarship, we have NUTNS2 grad. So you can check all this thing out. Like I said, we have Okong and PhD scholarship. I've already explained that is HKU. They pay 27,000 HK dollar per month. Hey, favor, let's relocate. That's how much they pay per month. But sorry, that's Hong dollar, please, not US dollar. That's Hong dollar, yeah. And research funding can be lab assistant. So they don't use research assistant, they use lab assistant, industrial partnership, which are called fellowship at that time, government research grant, accommodation. So then they give you accommodation support. You don't pay for house rent and everything, travel allowance. They expect you to go out, for conferences and everything. They pay for it. Yeah. So that is okay. So let's talk about very fine. The next 5 minutes, let's talk about scholarship strategy. Like I already explained this part, so I don't think I really need to explain it again. Yeah. So government scholarship, yeah. Some country, especially from China, India, almost foreign countries. They come to the US to come and study, but their government pay for the school fees and their stipend. Yes, I have two people in my lab. They are from one of the Arab countries. Their government is once paying for their stipend every month and pay for their school fees at the same time. So when they are done, they return back home, everything they have learned, right, to build their country. But we don't have that kind of things in Nigeria, right? You pay for yourself. So when you are coming to US, please focus on normal funding because Nigeria does not pay anything for us. So yeah. Okay. So I already explained this. Yeah. So one of the way you can um get a scholarship is like you have a very strong like you have to start early. Like I said, you have to start early, align with a scholarship value or criteria. So everything I'm explaining in this particular part will be part another webinar that we have to explain this in details. I'm going to show you a lot of examples of document. Um, so yeah, I can talk on another time on this, right? So yeah, so one of the for you to know, you need to start early. Like I said, tailor your application. Strong essay very important, and this is one of the biggest problem of almost all applications. Yeah, and the reason why we are very weak in this area in Nigeria because that we don't write SOP to get admission in Nigeria. That's up. So we don't. So we are not really good in writing. Yeah, you can say, oh yeah, no, we are not good in writing. Even in the US, for example, you will present a lot. You submit assignment a lot, you present, you do a lot of things and everything. So it's already prepared them in their own undergrad. And I always tell people like those people they have a very solid foundation in their undergrad. If you do undergrad in the foreign countries, their foundation is so superb because most of it, even if you are doing TA with undergrad in the US, you already undergo TA in bachelor in Nigeria. The way these people think and what you're teaching them, they didn't teach you in Nigeria. You didn't pass through it. The way they give them assignment every day. So they already know how to write. But we don't really know how to write and tell a story. I'm sorry to say that. Most people, the first time they write more than 10 pages when they are submitting their final year project. But these people, they do a lot of 10 paper, and everything. So we have issue with way people write SOP. That's what I've noticed. I've reviewed more than 1,000 SOPs. Sometimes I just laugh that, hey, Jesus. I will tell them, oh, you can't get admission with this kind of thing. Me, I'm very blunt when I'm reviewing that. You can't get admission. Don't deceive yourself. Because, and one thing I've noticed about we in Nigeria is that we try to put emotion in what we are doing. Emotion of pity. Let them pity me and give me admission. Let them, my mommy ask, can you come? My people, they don't pity you. You have to show to them that you have the potential of what they want for them to give you admission. They don't care about what have happened to you or what has not happened to you, And another thing just that choose recommenders that right? People that they can tell good things about you. If you have issues with your final year undergraduate supervisor, don't use him. Because what they are writing, you don't see it. They will submit it at your back, yes. And anything they put there, they will use to judge your application if you're a good student, you're in school or not. So please make sure you use people that you have peace with. So yeah. Like I said, I think if I'm talking, I'm going to waste a lot of time. Let me see. Don't worry, let me see again. Let me see. So I think okay. Sorry. Okay, so this is like another thing again. So okay, yeah. So let me go to this one. So you guys can ask a question, please, because I need to go very, 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 very soon. So where can the question is where can you search for schools? These are for US, the best place to search for school is usnews.com. There can be a webinar on that also on how to search for schools. Then we have studyportal.com, mostly for Europe. Findamaster.com, US use it, but mostly Canada people use it. Gradschool.com, mostly Europe use it, also Canada use it. But if you are coming to the US and Canada, specifically, usnews.com is your best bet. It's going to help you to rank all the schools. It will go to even show you their school fees and their requirement and everything. Then, so for tests, you can use GRE or TOEFL is your choice. For scholarship. Okay, so if you're also looking for scholarship, also you can go to iefa.org for scholarship. So application guides if you are lucky, you are in Education USA, study in Canada group can help you. So yeah, these are just like a website that they can tell you if you apply to this place or do this and do this here. One of the community you can join is also Grad Cafe. You can check it on Google, Grad Cafe. That's where all the students are applying to school in the world. They discuss. Oh, I applied to this school, they gave me admission, they gave me rejection, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, Grad Cafe. Then Reddit. Everybody should be on Reddit, to me. That's where you get the fattest information of everything about. Yeah. So thank you. So this will be my end of my discussion for today because of our time. Like I said, aviation stuff is very wide, and saying everything at once will give a lot of confusion. So without wasting our time, let's go to question and answer. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Bola. That was an amazing and insightful section, and I learned a lot. And I'm sure our audience learned a lot as well. So we're moving on to the question and discussion section. So any questions you have, see if you had any question while he was presenting, feel free to ask them in the comment section, and I would read it out loud. But thank you very much, Mr. Bola. You did an amazing job, and I'm sure we all learned a lot.
Thank you so much. So if you guys have any question, you can drop it on the chat box. I will answer.
Questions, please. I'll give about 2 minutes for questions. If anything came to your mind, if you wanted questions, clarity, more insight on a particular area that was shared, or feel free to ask them.
Just type your question. I'm going to read it and answer it.
Yes. Can you access the chat?
Yeah, I think I can see their chat.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All
I
right.
said I can rejoin.
Okay, we have a question. One asked, can we get access to the slides?
Yeah, sure. You can send this later then.
Okay. I would share the slides on the WhatsApp group chat. Please ask your questions. And while we're waiting for questions, well, I'm going to ask one that came to mind. So, Mr. Bola, out of all the options to study abroad, Canada, USA, Netherlands, Switzerland, and all of them, why did you choose to study in the USA?
Okay, so I like I said, so for me, I choose to study the US because, like I said, when you are applying to pick a place to study, right,
Mm-hmm.
you want to also try to, you have to think ahead.
Mm-hmm.
What is my life after studying here?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get? So yeah, so I think like post study life in the US, it seems easier than other countries.
Okay.
Do you get? So because you want to study in a country that gives you opportunity to like work,
Mm-hmm.
get a normal pay, and if you are a good city abiding immigrant, you can get a PR, do you get, and stay and work and everything. Another thing about US is just that if you are here, you are studying, sometimes it's easier for you to move your family with you through, independent visa and everything. And also, I want to come to a school that I know that they will not cut my fund anytime. So so all these scholarships I mentioned in Europe, once you are done, you must return, you must visit your country. It's a
Mm-hmm.
must. They don't discuss it with you. It's a must because they will even book your flights and tell you how to return back home and everything like that. But US, you don't really need to like return back home, right? You can do your OPT and everything like that and everything. So yeah, so life after school, and also when it comes to like research in STEM in the
Mm-hmm.
world, US has the forefront of it when it comes to like money, research area and everything. So they have a lot of multiple research area you can pick from. So that's why I choose US. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Yeah, so as we've heard, there are a lot of options, and while choosing the best country for you, it's good to make your due diligence research. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next questions. And we have about 10 more minutes for questions. The next question is,
At the
are
MSc.
they, oh, okay. Can
Oh,
you
at
see
the
the
MSc
question?
and PhD program
Okay.
opportunity for MBBS. Yeah, so if you study MBBS, yeah, you can study mostly the only one of the two ways you can come to the US, or any country, right? Because it's only Nigeria, right, that they have MBBS as an undergraduate course. In other countries, they have it like a school of medicine, medical school. So medical school in the US, if you want to study, should be around 7 to 9 years, like Nigeria also. But then they don't really call it their own BS, which means anybody can go there. But if you want to study MSc, you have to study public health. That's your one of your surest option. And then you need to convert your MBBS result, because you guys use pass or fail. You guys don't do like us that we have ABC. So you have to do as evaluation of your results, then you convert. But MPH is your best bet. MPH or match program that can take you to the US directly to come and do residency. Yeah. Which yeah. So as a final year student, is there any best step-by-step route for master scholarship? That's a very strange question. Yeah, there's a step-by-step route. As a final year student, like I said, if you are doing 5 years course, you have your first 4 year transcript. You can try to like start looking for schools you can apply to. Especially in the US and Canada, you need your 4 years to apply. But if you are doing 4 years course, you have to wait to like graduate. Do you get the points? Then, yeah. So master scholarship is very tough in the US to get, especially if you're in STEM. Most of the funding goes to PhD. Only few, you might be lucky, you might get masters, but if you are in non-STEM, you can surely get master that is fully funded. But especially in chemistry, or more, if you get masters that is fully funded, then maybe the supervisor is already working in something. They just need a student to come job within 1 or 2 years to finish it, or they can take it. But mostly in STEM, yeah. But I know department like computer science, you can get fully funded for your masters. But so if you are coming to the US, please open your mind to, especially if you're in STEM, open your mind to PhD and masters. Yeah, because it's easier. This is a life stuff, so I don't want to say something. It is easier to get funding in PhD in the US than masters, especially only if you are doing economics or agric economics. That one automatically you must have a master before PhD, so they'll give you funding for your masters. What about graduate course for robotics surgery? Yeah, so robotic surgery, there may not be a topic like that. There may not be a department called robotic surgery. So you have to look for a department that they are majorly working on robots. Then they are one of their research area is robotic surgery. So you may not really get a department that say that, oh, we are doing robotic surgery. Or you can check a course like maybe like neuroscience, neurosurgeon, and see what you are doing. So and you need to be very careful of your fantasy, to be honest. Your fantasy may not have anything to do with the US. So US only doing research that they know that is going to advance their country. So if, for example, I don't know your department, Henry Demi, Henry, right? Henry, that your store end with 646. I don't know your department, but if you're in engineering, you can go to mechanical engineering and do research in robotics, and your research area will be robotics surgery, how to use robot to make surgery. Yeah, but don't forget, people that build medical people don't build robots, right? Engineers and computer science people that the one that build robot medically apply it. So if you say robotic surgery, what do you mean? The application or building the robot? So they are very confusing about what you said. Yeah. So and you don't yeah and so what Sawyer does so okay, so for IELTS, right? IELTS is just purely English, but they will test you in that IELTS and TOEFL. They are both English, exams. There's no mathematics, there's no calculus or anything. But they will test you in 4 areas of that your English: speaking, reading, listening, and writing. So they will give you different section of exam. They will be playing something for you to they will play a particular audio for you, you hear it, then they will ask you a question about it. They will play it again, you hear it, another one. They will play some things for you and they will ask a question about that you should write. They will give you reading comprehension, yeah, something like that. So then after they will ask you a question, they ask you to answer by speaking. So they want to understand your accent. So what they are judging, can they hear you? Is your accent easy for people to understand, even though you have an accent? You get it? So which of them is for STEM? So both of them are for STEM, just that just that they are more country specific. For example, now US is the owner of uh, 8 years. So if you come to the US, do it, do TOEFL if you can pass it. Yeah. If not, do IELTS. US accept both, but like I said, TOEFL is more common in the US. But if you go to Canada, IELTS is more common in Canada. But in Europe, it's IELTS. They don't want to just write IELTS and pass it. I have like 7 band out of 9. Um, Thank you for the amazing. Okay, notice that you did not really mention accommodation. This that there is not always accommodation. Eh? Ah, okay. So there's always accommodation. No, sure, no, no. There's always house now. There's always accommodation. So it's not like Nigeria that you have school still. That you have to be renting school still. Everybody stay. Everybody just stay what you want to stay. No, so some school they have school and they have graduate house. Like me now, I'm staying in graduate house in like school. The house that the school built for their graduate students. Take it, that's what I'm staying. So, but generally everybody staying off campus. There's you can rent that, don't worry. So I understand what you're saying. Maybe you attend a school that's very hard for you to like get the school housing. No, it's not like that. So now you're a graduate student, you are a bigger person, you're an adult. It's your life. Run it the way you want, right? Get an off campus. You can even stay in another state and be schooling and as long as you don't miss their classes and everything. But when it comes to like Europe, like I said, for some specific like Erasmus, Chevy, all this kind of stuff, they expect you to they'll be the one to give you the housing. Yes. Even so, I know one of my friends that is currently schooling in Italy now. The school gave him the house he's staying inside the school, the school inside the school, and because I don't pay for it, right? But and if you don't want to stay, they will not force you. You can rent. There's always house outside for you to rent. When is it? So US to me, I don't really know about people that are resuming next month, but people that are resuming next year, August, they are open back because one of the reasons why I say that because now US has released fund back to Education USA in Nigeria. So which means for people that are coming to the USA next year, August, so automatically they're going to allow people to come in next year, August. Yeah. And that's So yeah, there's a travel ban currently on 39 countries, which Nigeria was unfortunately to be among them. But hopefully we hope that they remove the ban very soon. But for US to release funding for US Education USA, it shows that you know people is going to resume to the US at least worst next year, August. Fill your attendance using that's attendance. I have somewhere I saw somewhere in Europe that you have to get admission from the school first before you start applying for. Yeah, so there's some scholar. It's not all true. Just that it gives you an edge. So, for example, so there's some scholarship. The school will nominate you for them. Yeah, so that's why, like I said, Europe is very complex and very diverse. So some scholarship, the school will be the one to nominate you to that scholarship body. Why some scholarship, they will be the one to nominate you for admission for that school. So the school must give you admission first. Then they will not say, okay, fine, they will not consider it. So it depends on the scholarship you're applying for. Canada, Europe has a lot of scholarship. Like I said, Erasmus have their own rules. Chevy have their own rules. Commonwealth has their own rules. What's it called? Mastercard has their own rule. Elevator has their own. So they all have their own rules. So anyone you want to apply for, right? You have to go to their website and read about them and know their rule. Then you know what you are doing. If you don't have a strong research background, do I go for a research matters of trying consider? No. You don't need to. So you don't need to have a research background to apply for PhD. To be honest, you don't need to. Yeah, you don't need to be honest. You don't really need to. As long as you have a very good result, that qualifies you to apply for a PhD, then that should be enough for you. Jesus, how many questions are you asking? Huh. Hey, wait, let me be fast. Okay. Our programs initial. No. So some schools in Asia, right? They have some schools that they taught in like all their teachings are in English, yeah. But not all schools. Most of their schools, no, they use their language. So that's why there's something you want to do, you have to learn their language, to be able to communicate and everything. So, but no. So if you can speak English, that's all. Yeah, they will only give you admission to school that speak English also. But when you are not looking for a job, that's not the problem. So when you're in your program, it's always best you learn their language because when you're looking for a job and you don't learn the language, it's going to affect you. My name is Abu. No, Abu Bakasi. No. Attending link for program only. Attending link for the program only for Bridge Scholar. Okay. As a final nutrition and dietetics student, can I apply for PhD scholarship before masters and my internships? Oh, Jesus. Wait. Can you apply for PhD scholarship before masters? I don't understand. So I don't understand your question, but the best way I can answer is just that in the US, you don't need masters to apply for PhD, except some few departments. Your BSc is enough. Yes, I have friends that this he has been doing internship every year of his PhD. You can keep on going for intern. It's your choice, it's your choice. So you don't need masters in the US to do PhD, except few schools. But in Europe, you need masters to do PhD. Yeah. And in Asia, you need most of them, you need masters to do PhD. I think I've answered your question. If you can access the faculty, that's not me. Can you process to PhD without master? Yes. So please put the country there. So to which country would you say that best for master degree since you mentioned USA is best for PhD? So USA is best for masters also. I'm just talking about where most of their funding is, right? Most of their funding, they have it in PhD. So free funding, I won't use the word scholarship, I always use the word funding for the US. They have it in their masters. So, and it's very tough to get. Yeah. So, but if you just focus on masters, so trust me, what's the name again? Smiley Heavy or something like that, right? Apply to the US, but I think we should need to find a time because I think one of you guys' confusion is just that how do I even get the information, right? To even know if they are the best for me to apply or not. And I think we can have a seminar that when I'm going to like tell you how to know if this place is best for you or not. I can show you the practical way, how to search for schools, ask questions, what are the questions you need to
Definitely.
ask based on their reply. For me, I search and reach out to like 100 or 90 something schools. Based on their reply, I scale it down to 35. Then, based on the available admission fee I have, I scale it down to 20 and I apply to those 20 schools. You get the point. So, yeah, it's like I said, we have a lot of schools. It's very hard for you to know the one, but there's always a way to know the one you usually apply to. Yeah, there's a way
Yes.
I learn how to scale it down first. Even though the 3,000, just give me the first 250 schools that are doing intensive research in this area. I already removed 4,750 already. Then from those 250, I started checking again. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank,
I think I've answered all the
thank
questions.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Bola, for answering the questions and for your time. We appreciate all the insights that you have shared. And thank you so much. I'm sure the Bridge scholars have learned a lot. And we look forward to the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So
All
can I
right.
go?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, we'll all leave. Thank you so much. So the session has ended, and I'll forward the slides to the group chat as soon as I can. Thank you, everyone. Have a very good day.